Nobody warns you that your dream client can turn in a full-blown nightmare. You think you're getting paid to film. Revisions, expectations and random messages at midnight. If you're starting some creative business, I may save you some pain. Here are 7 truths about the client work nobody tells you about. Half of my early projects failed, not because of the shoot, but because I didn't understand the clients. I'm Marek Mars, I run the creative agency here in London called One Mars Media Limited. We help brands tell stories that actually connect, not that boring corporate stuff that everyone skips, but content that actually feels real, emotional and worth watching. Over the years, I work with all kinds of clients, and I have learned that client work teaches you more about business, communication and boundaries than any course ever could. So if you are starting your journey or you are trying to grow your own creative business, this may save you a few gray hairs. One of the first things I want to talk about is clients don't know what they want. When you're a videographer work is basically to join the project, capture what you need to capture, go home, edit. If you are editor too. When you are a video producer, there's so much more you need to cover. When you're starting working with the clients, you end up as a part director or a part therapist. You will be working with a lot of different people, and most of the people may give you impression exactly what they want and what they need. Sometimes you're working with social media manager of the brand that had some creative idea they want to implement into the brand they're working with, and they ask you if you can help them out. But some of them, they just saying is they want cinematic stuff and they're talking about TikTok trends. You need to be clear right from beginning and ask them visual examples, what they have in mind, so you both understand each other. I had this experience in the beginning when I tell you at the beginning of this video. Part of my early projects failed because I didn't ask exactly what the client want and what the client need. You need to find out the need to fill it up. Early talks and asking a lot of questions is one of the most important things I learned through the years. You are the person who asking the last question on the call to gain the clarity on that what they're exactly looking for. The biggest skill isn't gear or camera you have or light you have. It's being able to translate vague ideas into something visual. If clients reaching out and they say, oh, we need to, let's start something with something basic, because most of you guys will start with basic work. For example, events. I think events is one of the most popular industry when most of the videographers, photographers potentially start, and that will keep you going for a while. But of course, most of us potentially have a bigger ambitions to work with the brands and being able to deliver bigger projects with bigger projects with bigger brands. Events are a great example because sometimes client will reach out and they will say, oh, we need an event capture. And you just jump on it and say, okay, I'm there, I can do it for you. You provide the price and you go on the shoot, and on the end of the day, they're not happy because or part of the footage is missing or the edit doesn't look the way how they want it. So you need to be clear from beginning what they're looking for, what pace of the video they're looking for, what vibe of the music that will be involved, and post-production they like to see in the video. And this way you can tell your price into that what they exactly need, or as long as you have a fixed rate for events, that's fine, that also work at this stage. Sometimes you will be working with the clients who completely don't know what they want. They have envision that, and they think if they just gonna tell you, oh, we want the cinematic stuff, that will work. But honestly, you need to have a full understanding of exactly what they're looking for. So showcasing the styles and visual examples is helping you to help them. When clients reach out and they send you a visual deck, you are on the right track and you know you're working with the right people. And one of the best things I learned working with visual decks, when you actually prepare the deck, and so everyone can see it, everyone who is involved in the project can see it, is one of the best way to actually to have a successful project. There's a lot of fun experience feedback I get through the years when people seeing the first draft of the video and someone give you a feedback, make it more emotional or make it more cinematic, or use the better takes of the people. But when you're providing your first draft of the video, this is what you think it's best, so you need to explain that to them. I need more feedback from your end, exactly what you don't like, which take, which scene in the video you don't like, we can take it off and replace it. The earlier you start guiding your client, the less work you have later in the project. You're not there to obey your client, you are there to lead them to clarity. Second point, revisions multiply if you don't set the boundaries. Unlimited revisions should come with therapist session. Every time when you say yes to one more edit, you teach your clients that your time is endless. It's never one more tweak, it's 20. Your peace of mind costs more than one extra cut. I always recommend to set clear limits in writing. How many rounds of revisions And if you want to go that extra mile without charging the clients, fair. I do that. If I working with the great clients, I want to show them. I want to be part of that, what they're doing. I want to help them. I'm not there to just take their money. I'm there to provide the solution to problem they have. Revisions aren't evil, but endless revision can kill creative momentum. When you stuck doing endless revision into one project, that will affect the rest of your project because you're using mental energy and creative energy towards this one project with endless revisions instead of focusing on multiple projects you're working in the same time and giving equal energy to everyone for each project. So just watch out, be aware, and make your decision right. Point 3, cheap clients usually the hardest. So many times I get clients when they send me a video example of massive production advert for big brand, 20, 30, 40,000 budgets, advertisement video example from YouTube, and they said we want something like this with the budget 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 2,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds. But most of the time that just cover your time, your equipment, preparation to the shoot. In consideration, you need to think about models, makeup artist, stylist, hairstylist, locations, light setup, assistant, gaffer, and everything else that is involved to producing this content. Client most of the time they don't realize that, and they thinking is a matter of bringing camera, just capturing the content and going home and edit. There's a lot of higher expectations from clients with the low budget than the people who actually have a budget. Everything is just always flowing with the people who have a budget, because when you have a budget, your time is paid and you feel comfortable with that, what you're actually doing, and time you're spending on this project because your time is paid right. I try to understand what the psychology behind this, because I can understand some people, especially startup companies, they may have a low budget and they want to make sure if they're spending the money, they're spending in the right direction. But truth behind the creating, for example, campaigns. If you wanna create a campaign for your brand, and you're thinking about producing the content, it's never one point. Lots of people with low budget, they're looking at the one point. I'm gonna spend that £1,000 on the video that's gonna bring me so much more clients into the business. Most of the time, creating campaign or creating marketing strategy for your business or creating strategy with business is like multiple points. You're looking at the multiple points that connect in some point in time. Sometimes it's taking 3 months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 1 year to actually everything monetize. I'm only talking from my own experience doing the content for my social media and for my business through the years. When you're just posting the one video and you have like, oh wow, 200 likes or whatever, 100 likes, that video, it doesn't do for longevity of your business. You need to think about creating multiple content through the years or through the months to actually to get exposure and being noticed by somebody. Content you are producing is seen by people as a collective. It's not just one thing. You may think like, I have people reaching out and they say, oh Marek, we're doing this so long and we have only 1,000 followers and it doesn't work. What is the secret? One of the things I learned for the years working with the brands is just putting effort, continuous effort, and even if it feels like it doesn't work, believe me, after time posting and creating content, you will notice after time that what you're doing with the videos or the content you are creating is going somewhere. When you're working with the clients with low budget, they always want to extract as much as they can from this money they're spending with you. And that's why usually is a help. When you're working with startup companies, sometimes you have a startup companies that they have a budget, they have investors, and they reaching out to you and they listen, we have a budget from an investor that investing into our business, that budget is that and that, and we want to do this. That is great opportunity and you have a great client to work with. So that is the dream clients you want to reach out and head towards better, bigger clients. So just summarize it, I think we all need to go through that, and I think your own experience is the best lesson. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing clients on the low budget, but you should go with the flow with it. In some point, you need to start setting your boundaries. Fact number 4, your time isn't just shoot time. Let's start with the brutal example just to connect with the previous point. You have a clients who telling you, Marek, I want you to come just for 1 hour. And I would say never set your hourly rate, and never set the hourly rate. I work with project-based quotes, so it's not like my price apply the same to each project. And also, if I have to, I do have a half-day rate and full-day rate. I do have clients who used to pay me for event shoot and edit, fixed amount of money, and I had them in some time reaching out, we need you just for an hour, and I tell them my half-day rate, and they've been shocked. This is actually taking less time. But no, it doesn't take less time. You still need to make the calls with them, make a bit of planning. It depends on the size of the project. They're thinking if you're coming for a shoot for 1 hour and they pay you £200, because that happened in the past when people offer me £200 because it's just 1 hour shoot. They do not consider like file management and color grading and post-production and everything. Of course, you can do it. I did it as well in the past, but there is very thin boundaries how long you can do it, because you're not gonna be able to thrive. You may be able to survive, but you're not gonna be able to thrive. You're actually gonna be stuck in doing the projects for £200 all the time instead of thrive. So one of the things you need to set the boundaries in terms of how you're quoting your time, and basically setting the rates for half-day rate, full-day rate, or project-based. For example, I recently have a project when I charge, I'm gonna give you some numbers. I charge £4,000, and that requires of me to actually traveling to a different country, take a shoot. But in this price, I need to arrange the photographer and accommodations and flight and all this stuff. So £4,000 is not a lot for that type of the project, but give you idea and experience how much actually of this budget is consumed. So I spend like £400 on the flights and another £100 on accommodation. And there is like taxis, another £100–150. There's food on the day, on the site, and that is only me. But in this case, you also need to include the photographer who potentially may travel with you from different country. There's a flight for a photographer, there's accommodation for a photographer, and all this stuff. So in this case, almost half of the budget been consumed by cost of the production. So you see, you need to be aware of that. And always keep that in mind when you're quoting, and you need to make a decision if this is worth of your time. And we're talking only about pre-production. We're not talking about post-production and organizing and talking with the client. So this is a lot coming into this. It's good to keep the tracking on that, how you spend your time and on what and how long is it take you and how much it costs you, just to have an understanding from project to project base what you're actually doing and how you're spending your time. Clients usually think they're paying for 1 day, but there's so much more before and after. So you need to tell them and you need to explain that always. Don't take things emotionally. Just be honest and tell them what is required to prepare this project and why it's cost as much as cost. You don't need to justify every minute. Just show them you're not a magician. As long as you are, in that case, go ahead. Fact number 5, scope creep is a silent killer. Can you just is the most dangerous words in the production. Scope creep doesn't happen all at once. It's small asks stacking up. We talked about this before. Every extra ask is steals time from your next client. Always respond with, sure, this is an extra add-on, here's the cost. If you don't value your own time, no one else will. One quick extra shot can mean another full edit. Before you take on the project, just always write kind of the contract. Sometimes it could be just very simple as an email communication, telling them, okay, this is the scope, this is what we're gonna do, this is what's gonna be delivered, this is how long it's gonna take, this is a deadline, this is what we're gonna need. Just describe everything in details, how's the production gonna go, and what you need to go through to get the client and this project to the final stage to be successful. So always be transparent, always communication, and present the client before you start the project what actually gonna be done, instead of jumping into the project without clear description of that what need to be done. It's happened so many times in the past when I jump on the project was really cool, budget was cool, and I started delivering the content, and content delivery was finalized. They ask about another additional rounds. They start buttering me, telling me it's gonna be more work, and it sounds legit because it was a big brand. So I jump on doing a bit of extra. I spend an additional hour to getting extra content for them, because I only start working with them. I want to make sure they're happy and they satisfied with the work we are doing. I don't want to be stiff, like saying, okay, that's it, you're not getting anything else, or pay me more. whatever. I just want to make sure it's gonna work for them. I make decision in that case. That was wrong, this decision, because it didn't lead to any good in the future. Yeah, it's just another lesson you learn. Is most of the time is about, of course, being creative and being part of something cool. Most important part, we need to pay our bills, and we need to feed our family, and we need to eat. And I already lost on how many facts we done, but next fact will be: your best clients come from trust, not from discounts. People who trust you will pay you full price without a blink. The moment you discount, you teach them to negotiate down next time. The trust beats low pricing every single time. Just give you some example. On early stage of my business, I work with some clients, and I started increasing my prices. And when the clients who work with me before, they come back and they hear the new price, they like kind of bounce back and they're so sorry, this is out of our budget, can you do it lower price? And I said, listen, this is a new year cart rate, and this is how much I charge now for that kind of service. So they bounce back and move on with someone who actually did it in the budget. And the content they create, it wasn't as great as they expected. Why I'm saying that, I'm not judging someone else's work, this is not what I'm doing, because as long it works for a client and client is happy, that's fine. Wherever you do, we need to all go through it. And if you are successful enough when you deliver crap work, but you still getting clients who actually pay you and you have a chance to learn on the way, good for you. As long client is happy and they have a great result out of that, what you're doing, good stuff. So what I want to say is, this client who go with the cheaper videographer or video producer at the time, he actually come back a few months later and saying, listen, we want to work with you on this price, on your rate, because you did a great job last time for us. That gives me more confidence about that's what I'm doing. Your rate filters who takes you seriously. Holding your rates builds confidence in you and in them. Don't sell yourself as affordable. Sell yourself as effective. Every yes to the discounts is no to your growth. Some cliché stuff, but you get it. Last fact for this video will be 99% of problems coming from unclear communication. Most of the bad clients are just actually confused clients. Miscommunications ruin more projects than bad edit ever did. You assume they know your process. They don't. Always communicate exactly what's gonna be done. Use the plain language, not just the video slang. If you have a call with the client, after send the email, confirm everything in writing. This is what we agree on. Silence breeds assumptions. We don't want that, so always clear with that. Make sure you're checking with the clients, everything is good. Ask them to jump on the call if anything is unclear. Talk to them. You need to be a therapist, as I mentioned before. Good communication saves time, money, and relationships. Learn to listen more instead of jumping with assumptions and jumping in with conclusions. Let them finish. Ask another questions and ask another questions, and that lead to another questions and more questions, until you have a full image of that issue they're dealing with. I always say over-communicate expectation at the start so you don't argue at the end of the project. I deal in the past with the clients who don't want to go through that process, questions and answer, and honestly, this is one of the best filters. You don't want to work with the clients like this, because if they not give you a clarity at the beginning what need to be done, you're gonna be suffering later. If you don't know what you are doing, you will be dealing with the stuff later anyway. And when you deal with the stuff later, it's gonna take so much more of your time. You don't want that. I basically learned to always ask more questions. If they ghost you because they don't like to answer the questions, you don't want to work with this person. Use the question and answer process as a filtration system, because you will find out who you're working with when you start asking questions. When you let them speak, they tell you everything. It's a psychology. People love talking about themselves. So just listen and you will see exactly what they're going through and what issues they have, what actually drives them to do this thing, and this is the best thing. When you let them talk, they tell you everything. Clients don't need perfections, they need clarity and trust. So just to recap what we're talking about today. If you nail communication, set limits and value your time, you will love client work again. Every mistake teaches you how to be calmer, smarter and confident. Drop your worst client story in the comments. I may do a reaction video. If you're building your own creative business, subscribe. I share everything I wish someone told me when I started. Alright, I'm out. Time to deal with my next round of clients. Take care, have a good day.